So this is Algebra 2. We are doing 2-4, more about linear equations, so we're extending what we learned in 2-3. Our learning objective is to write an equation of a line given its slope and a point on the line. So our essential understanding is that the slopes of two lines in the same plane indicate how the lines are related. So if you're looking to see how your lines are related, look at their slopes. Given the slope and the y-intercept, you can write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. You can also write the equation of a line in point-slope form. And that is the first thing you guys are going to put on your notes is point-slope form. So if we have point x1, y1, and slope m, we can write the equation of the line y minus y1 equals slope m, parenthesis x minus x1. I'd like the record to show that both mathematical operations are negative, so it's minus and a minus. I'll give you guys a second to write this down. All right, so let's see how to write the equation of a line through 7, -1 with a slope of -3. So the first thing we're going to do is rewrite that equation. So we're going to write y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. 7 is x1, -1 is y1, and m is -3. So I am just going to replace. So I got y minus, and I'm going to replace my y1 with -1 equals the slope, which is -3, times x minus x1. So x stays there. x1 gets replaced with 7. It's really important you keep track of your numbers, deciding which basic parts, this y and this minus sign, the equal sign, the m, becomes a number, the y1 becomes a number, and the x1 becomes a number, but all the other components stay there. So then you simplify this, so that's minus a negative is a plus. So it's y plus 1 equals -3 times x minus 7. And that's the equation of ours. All right, so let's take a look at this next problem. Make sure you're putting this in your notes. A line passes through -5, 0, and 0, 7. What is the equation of the line in point-slope form? So we are going to write y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. I'm falling off the universe here. So we are keeping y and minus. We are going to replace our y1 with 0. We are going to put our slope in, but I don't have a slope, so I just have 2 points. And it's going to be x minus x1. X minus x1, which is -5. So I have to go and find the slope first. And if we remember, the slope function is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Definitely write that down because writing it down another time will help you remember it. So for this problem, we need our y2 is 7, y1 is 0, x2 is 0, x1 is negative 5. Our slope is 7 over 5. So now I can go back here and put it in as my slope. We're going to simplify this one more step because I know y minus 0 is y, and it's 7/5 x plus 5. Minus a negative gives you a positive. All right. So this is only going to be the third linear equation form that we're going to document. This is called the standard form, also known as the general form, but in this textbook we'll call it the standard form. A standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are real numbers, and a and b are not both 0. One of them can be 0, but both of them cannot. Alrighty, so we are going to take this equation, y equals 9.1x plus 3.1, and put it in standard form. So standard form says that all my x's and y's are on the same side, and my constant term is on the right-hand side. So I got to take and subtract 9.1x from both sides of this equation. And it wants my x values first, so I'm going to go negative 9.1x plus y equals 3.6. And now we're in standard form. All right, so the next topic we're going to cover is finding intercepts. And to find the intercept, to find the y-intercept, we set x equal to 0, and to find the x-intercept, we set y equal to 0. So I always remember it as, if x is equal to 0, we're hunting the y-intercept. Y is equal to 0, then we're hunting the x-intercept. So if we look at this example, what are the intercepts of 2x minus 4y equals 8? And then we're going to graph the equation, and we're going to graph based on our intercepts. So the first one that we're going to do is we're going to find the x-intercept. We're going to do that by taking our equation and letting y equal 0. So where my y appears in my equation, I'm going to put a 0 in instead. And then I just solve for x. So I get 2x minus 0. I'm not going to write the minus 0 down because that is equal to 2x. 2x is equal to 8. I divide both sides by 2. And I get x equals 4. So I have a x-intercept at 4, 0. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my graph, 4, 0. My x value is 4, and my y value, remember, we put in 0. All right, so for my y-intercept, I'm going to set x equals to 0 and solve for y. So I'm going to take my equation, and where my x value is, I'm going to make it 0. And that will more time. Two times 0 is 0, and I'm left with negative 4y equals 8. To solve for y, I'm going to divide by negative 4. And I get y is equal to negative 2. 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. So my coordinate is x is 0, y is negative 2. So I'm going to go to my graph. I'm going to graph 0, negative 2. Then I'm going to take my straight edge or my ruler and put in a nice straight line between those two intercepts. So we found the intercepts and we graphed the equation. All right, so I definitely want you guys to write this down, but let's just write the abbreviated version of it. The office manager of a small office ordered 140 packs of printer paper. Based on average daily use, she knows that the paper will last about 80 days. What graph represents the situation? What is the equation of the line in standard form? And how many packs of printer paper should the manager expect to have after 30 days? Give you guys go ahead and pause while we write this down. Axes. So we want to put our axes on our paper where this is our y and this will be packs of paper. And this is going to be our x. And this will be our number of days. So let's put our 2 points that we know. How many packs of printer paper do we start with on day 0? 140. So I'm going to count by tens here. I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10, 20, 30, 40. So at 140, that's how many packs of paper we start with. And after how many days are we at 0 paper? 8. So I'm going to, I think on, oh, we'll just count by tens. This is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So at 80 days, we are down to 0. I'm going to put a nice straight line on there. We'll make it blue. I'm going to go here. All right, so now all we have to do is come up with an equation for this line. So the first thing I'm going to do is write my 2 coordinates down. 2 sets of coordinates. So my first point was here at 0, 140. And my second point was here at 80, 0. So if we remember our slope equation, and if we call out 0 is our x1, 140 is our y1, 80 is our x2, and 0 is our y2, we know that our slope is going to be 0 minus 140 over 80 minus 0, which gives me negative 140 over 80. And we got to reduce that down. I know that's definitely going to be equal to negative 14 over 8. And since 2 goes into both of these items, be negative 7/4 as my slope. So now that I have my slope, it doesn't matter which point that I plug in for point slope. So I'm just going to pick my first one here because it's already labeled x1, y1. What is it? Oh, sorry, standard form. Okay. So y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1 and I'm going to replace y1 with 140. I'm going to replace m with negative 7/4. I'm going to replace x1 with 0. This is slope-intercept. No, this is point slope. We are then going to convert it to general after we simplify it down. So I'm going to simplify this as y minus 140 equals negative 7/4 x. To get it into general form, I'm going to move the 7/4 x over to the other side of the equation and move the 140 onto the right side of the equation. So I'm going to add 7/4 x and I'm going to add 140. Negative 140 plus 140 is 0. I don't have any other x's to combine with my 7/4 x, so he stays 7/4 x. I just have this one y over here. Negative 7/4 x plus 7/4 x cancels out, and I just have 140. And that's the equation in general form. The x's and y's on the left and the number on the right. So now we can answer C. So C says, how many packs of printer paper should the manager expect to have after 30 days? And according to my calculations, it should be about 90, but we're going to plug it into the formula and find out for reals, not just estimates. Okay, so we got 7/4 times 30 plus y. So times 30, because x is 30, plus y equals 140. So if I do 7/4 times 30, I'm just going to do straight up calculator. I get 52.5. And then I subtract 52.5 from both sides to see what y value I get out when x is equal to 30. And And 140 minus 52.5 is 87.5, which is right around 90. So the answer to C, how many packs of printer paper should the manager expect to have after 30 days? She should expect to have about 87.5 packs after 30 days. All right, new topic, parallel and perpendicular lines. So on your paper, write parallel and perpendicular lines. Also write the slopes of parallel lines are equal. And write the slopes of perpendicular lines are negative reciprocals of each other. So parallel lines, let's draw the picture also. Parallel lines do not intersect. Their slopes are equal. Perpendicular lines intersect at 90 degrees, and their slopes, when you multiply them together, equal -1. But they're also the negative reciprocals of each other. Okay, so we're going to find the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to write that down because it's been a day since I looked at slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to do it for A, the line parallel to 4x plus 2y equals 7, and through the point 4, -2. So for this situation, I need to take my parallel line and solve it for y. When I do that, I should be able to identify the slope. I need to divide everything by 2. The reason I want to find the slope of this line is because the slope of my new line is exactly the same. So y equals mx plus b. I know my m is -2. So this will be for A. If m is equal to -2, I need to find the other parts of my equation. So because I have a point and the slope, I'm going to use point slope and then convert it into slope-intercept. So my x1 is 4 and my y1 is -2. My slope is -2. And then we're going to simplify this, and I'm going to distribute out the -2. So I get y plus 2 equals -2x plus 8. To get it into slope-intercept form, I need to find y by itself. So I minus this 2. And then when 8 minus 2 is 6. So I get y equals negative 2x plus 6. This is the answer to A. It's got the same slope as my original line, and it passes through the point 4, negative 2. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with B, and thank goodness B is already written in point slope form, or slope-intercept form. So if I have y equals 2/3 x minus 1, what is the slope of this line? Y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Yeah, so the slope of my original line is 2/3. So the slope of my new line is going to be the negative reciprocal of that. So I'm then going to go back to my point slope and go, although I could use slope-intercept, but I'll do point slope so we can practice using that. So we got y minus, there's x1 is 0 and y1 is 6. I got y minus 6 equals slope times x minus 0. So simplify that down, y minus 6 equals negative 3/2 x, and I need it in slope-intercept form. I'm going to add the 6 to both sides. So my equation of the line perpendicular to my original line that passes through 0, 6 is y equals negative 3/2 x plus 6. And that's how to deal with parallel and perpendicular.